What's going on, YouTube? This is a video I never intended on making, but I like to be transparent with you guys and show the good and the bad of trucking. So yeah, this is the bad on trucking. And so this is how I costed myself $9,600 in the span of one day. I really wouldn't say it's one day. It's kind of, well, yeah, I would say one day. So here's a backstory onto the load. So I picked up a load out of the Virginia port. What's Virginia port? The Newport News Port and Newport News, Virginia. Picked up a load there. It's oversized, about 10 foot 8 inches wide, 11 feet 5 inches tall. And when with the load on the trailer, it came out to be about 14 feet 5 inches tall, 10 feet 8 inches wide. It stuck out so much off the outside, and it took a while to get my. So, whenever I get my dimensions, like the height, was really I just look at the height and width. If I know I'm within weight, I don't tell her the weight. I mean, I do tell her the weight, but my operation manager, I told her the weight. But that really doesn't play a factor into what happened in Michigan. And so it took a while to get my Virginia. Well, I got my Virginia apartments about 2 hours. I would say about 2 hours after I got done, because as soon as the load is on my trailer, I go ahead and measure everything out, get the height pole out, measure from top to the bottom. And how I measure is, I don't know how all these other heavy haulers do it. I mean, the person that taught me oversized and what to do, I used the method he taught me. It's a really good method. I still recommend using that method because it worked for every other state except for Michigan. And so what I do is I take a height pole, I measure from the center of the load, I measure from the front of the load, I measure from the back of the load, and I'll get the highest point. And I'll do that. Then I'll move about 200 feet forward. I'll do that same thing, front, mid, center, back. Then I move 600 feet back, from 200 feet from the original point where I was at. I'll do the same thing, front, back, middle, and I'll take the highest point of which I measured. So that highest point was about 14 feet 5 inches. So as soon as I get that, call up my operation manager, she gets the ball rolling on the permits. And after that, I go ahead and tarp the load. It took about 4 tarps to even tarp it. And as I explained in my first video I uploaded on there about the oversized load day 1 vlog. So I would go ahead and tie this in as the part 2 of what happened. I know I'm a couple days late on that. I really didn't want to make this video. I mean, I didn't want to make it this soon, but then after hearing what I heard yesterday, I decided, well, might as well do it since I can't take no legal actions against Michigan. And so yeah, it took about 4 tarps to tarp it, got it all done, secured it, all the good jazz. I will recommend, even when you're hauling tall loads in your flatbed, your regular 30-foot straps aren't gonna cut it. So you're gonna need at least 40 footers or 50 footers when you start getting into tall loads, which I wish I had. I ended up improvising, but I wish I did have 40 or 50 foot straps. Would have really came in handy. And so yeah, your 30-foot straps ain't gonna cut it when you start getting into the tall loads. And I'll do a whole little series on flatbed ins and outs from my personal experience, from what I know. I'll be asking other people, flatbedders, questions on what can I throw into the video, what can I do this, what can I do that into the video. But yeah, so back to the topic. So from Virginia, so my route was from Virginia Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, back through West Virginia again, Ohio, and Michigan. So I'll name out the route I took. So I took the 64 through Virginia up to 81. 81 I took all the way up there to West Virginia, and I hit the 70. No, I took the 81 through West Virginia. No, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland. Once I got to Maryland, out the 81, I took the 70. 70, I took all the way to the 68. 68 took down to the 79 in West Virginia again. 79, I took to the US 50. All the way up there into Ohio. Make sure I'm saying it right. No, the US 50, I was still in West Virginia up to the 77. 77 brought me into Ohio. I came up through Ohio to the 77, went on the 70. 70 brought me to what's that? Columbus. I took I think it's a 270 bypass around Columbus. And then back onto the 70s. I bypassed around Cleveland. Then from the 70, I took up to the, where was I at? I'm thinking it was the 75. So it came up to, I forgot what interstate I was on the on Cleveland. It brought me up there to Toledo and over to the 127 north in Ohio. So I was good from the port in Newport News, Virginia, all the way up to the state line of Michigan. So this load literally took a whole week to do. Like, I did hit it down there on Monday, picked it up on Tuesday, didn't deliver until Friday. It took about pretty much 4 days to do 900 or so miles. Because with Oversized, you're limited to how much you can run. So like you pretty much, you can only run from 30 minutes before sunrise all the way down to 30 minutes after sunset. That's pretty much every state except for Maryland. Maryland, you can pretty much run 24/7 up to a certain extent. I got the Maryland permit on my phone. I don't have it anymore because once I'm out of that state, I don't need it unless something happens. Then I need it. But once I'm as long as nothing happens in that state, I don't keep the permits. I do have the permits for Virginia, not Virginia, but Michigan in the back. But probably should have brought it up here, that way I don't have to cut the video, grab the permit, and come back, so I can read it off to you guys of why I can do what I can and cannot do. But really, I can't do nothing really. So what? So yeah, I was pretty much good from Virginia Port and Newport News all the way up there to state line of Michigan. And also the low, it was crated machinery, so it was going way up there to the very top of Michigan. Like, I'm telling you, you can probably throw a rock and hit Canada. That's how far up I was. And so I get to the state line of Michigan. I'm gonna grab the permit. All right, so I got a Michigan permit. So let's see. Great machinery. So I'll go ahead and say this. So let me see. I gotta make sure. I'm not gonna show the actual permit. I have company information on here, but I will just read out of what I have. Oh, I'll do it like this. So here are my dimensions, and they're the same for every single state. Just trust me on it, because I was able to make it from those other states all the way up there without a mistake. And also, and I'll get to how this technically wasn't my fault, but there's a certain clause in these permits that saves the state's ass when they issue you permits, and that plays a big factor into why it kind of is my fault, but kind of isn't my fault at the same time. So here are my dimensions. I'll do object and overall. So the object, which was a crated machinery, was 10 feet 8 inches wide, 11 feet 5 inches tall, and 22 feet long in length. It's about 36,859 pounds. My overall, with it being on my truck, with it being on my truck trailer and all that stuff, so the width was still 10 feet 8 inches. The height goes up to 14 feet 5 inches, and the length comes out to 74 feet. The truck and so length is a length from the front of my truck to the back of my trailer. And then it says all my axle weights and pretty much everything like that, but that doesn't really matter at this when in this situation. And so yeah, so here's the route. It started on the US 127. I was on the 127. Then it goes up to, it's on the 127 northbound. It goes from the 127 northbound to the I-94 westbound. I'm still so pissed off about this. So the 127, I was good until I got to the 194 westbound. Mind you, it's about 1 or 2 o'clock, so there is a little bit of minor road, well, minor traffic. So it wasn't real heavy. It was just regular traffic. So I wish it was heavy traffic when I was going through there. It would have saved my ass. I mean, that's probably like the first time anybody's ever heard, like, I'm probably the first person you ever heard say they wish there was heavy traffic. But yeah, so I-94, get onto that, and that is where the bad things start happening. So when you hit the I-94, so in the permit it does say I am, mind you, as you're hearing this, you're gonna realize what happened. In the permit it says 14 feet 5 inches for the height. 14 feet 5 inches. So Michigan said, no, okay, yeah, this guy is 14 feet 5 inches, and let's not put him on a route that has anything less than 14 feet 5 inches or anything like that. No, they didn't think about this at all. Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Ohio, all thought about that. I'm like, oh, this guy's 14 feet 5 inches. Let's not put him in any route that he's gonna hit a bridge. Yeah, they were all smart. I applaud Virginia. Not so much West Virginia, because they kind of messed up on my permit on this last oversized load I just did. The one I just got delivered today, but Ohio, props to Ohio, they did pretty good. A lot of back roads. But I mean, we're having all year and do a lot of back roads. It's inevitable for the most part, but yeah, Michigan. Michigan. This ain't the first time I ever had a problem with Michigan either. I mean, first time I actually had a problem to where it actually affected me really badly. Like the first oversize I did to first oversize I did to Michigan was 11 feet 9 inches wide. So it wasn't tall, it was just wide. It was an AC unit going to Grand Rapids, Michigan. And they routed me through, it was pretty much, so I came in through the Indiana side. So you would think that, okay, Grand Rapids is right there. Oh, I think it's, where is that one interstate? It's right there off the 80. I think it's 90. Don't quote me on it, it's 90. It's right off Grand Rapids side, on the West Coast side of it. So, you know what it is, drop it in the comments. But you would think they would route me right up through there. I'm just wide, ain't tall. Just route me straight up through there. It would save me so much time. But nope, they wanted to route me through whole Michigan and back down. Why did they do that? I have no idea. But I'm not worried about it because I'm not pulling loads that are oversized into Michigan again. I may do regular loads, but I'm not gonna do oversized loads into Michigan again. But back to the topic, but yeah. So I get on the 94, not even 5 miles. I wouldn't even say 3 miles. I'm cruising along, there's a truck in front of me, I'm keeping my following distance. Yeah, I'm keeping my following distance. And what kind of what should have saved my ass was the construction signs. If that construction sign was before the exit that said that that bridge was 14 feet, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But they put the road sign after the exit that said 14 feet. Not very smart for us oversized, for the state of Michigan, because us oversized guys who are over height, by the time you see that, it's too late. It is too late, and it definitely was too late. Like, I slammed on the brakes. I even used my trolley brake to try and slow me down a little bit. I mean, I didn't actually like pull on it and actually pull my trailer brakes, but I tapped it. I was as my foot was planting, like my brake pedal was fucking in the ground, and so I tapped on it to slow me down even more. It helped, but I was too much momentum because I was driving at the speed of 55 miles per hour. I think by the time I actually, so it's crazy because it's crazy. I'm gonna get a call in a second. So it's crazy because there's two bridges right there. They're actually working on the bridge, so it's crazy because I managed to clear both bridges. I don't know if they were heightening the bridge or what, but I managed to clear that first bridge where the sign on top says 14 feet. Because there's a road sign that says 14 feet. The construction sign, there's a road sign. I can actually see the road sign because they're doing construction on it, and I don't know. I didn't see it until it was too late, until I was very up close to it. I managed to clear that first one, but I hit the second one. And yeah, so how this is how I explain how this load actually is. So the load is sitting in a crate about 5 or so, I'd say about 6-7 inches below the crate. So the top of the crate, top to bottom, was 14 feet 5 inches. That actual machinery, thank goodness, that actual machinery was sitting about 6 or 7 inches below the top of the deck of the crate. So the actual load itself didn't hit the bridge. It was the actual crate that they're gonna throw away once they get the machinery. So once they get the thing out, because fucking at that point I'm like, if they hadn't put it in that big crate, we wouldn't have this conversation either. But I think it was my fault. I'm looking at my permits. So I hit the bridge. It didn't slow me down any, really. I mean, that crate was a skeleton crate. Anybody who's ever hauled crate machinery, skeleton crates fucking suck. Like, I've hauled a lot of machinery loads, and that was my first time ever having a skeleton crate. Usually they're in like a wood crate, which would have been a lot, I wouldn't say it would have been a lot better, but it would have. It's my first time hauling a skeleton crate, so that machinery being that skeleton crate, I mean, it's kind of flimsy. I mean, I kind of made me nervous going on top of it, because how you put your tarps on there is, since it's literally impossible to yeet your tarps up there or climb up there with your tarps on you. The port in Newport News has a forklift with a bucket attachment, and you grab your tarps, or if you want to bring your bungees up there, you bring your bungees up there. I mean, something like that. But you grab your tarps, he put it in the bucket, you grab it, go in the bucket as well, close the gate. He lifts you up there to the top, brings you right up there, so you probably like an inch gap between the actual the load itself and the bucket. So he brings you up there in a forklift and a bucket attachment, and so that's how you're able to tarp it. Because if they wasn't able to do that, I'd probably refuse to tarp it. No, I'll probably just refuse to load, because ain't no way I'm fucking gonna be able to tarp this thing with it being that high. This truck stuff's kind of weird right now, but yeah. So there is that. So I was able to get a tarp, everything like that. You saw the first vlog. I kind of explained it too. But yeah, so after I hit that, back on top of it, after I hit that bridge, I pulled over right after I hit it. Ran out to the road, grabbed what was the top of with the top of the crate, grab what was left, just threw it on the side of the road. So if you're ever traveling on 94 westbound, you ever see that construction area where, oh, give me a second.